Here we are. Okay. We're going to start in just 1 second, guys. See who's watching right now. Nobody yet. But we're getting there. I would assume you can hear me okay. Can you hear me now? Outputs. All right, it's time to get started, everybody. Welcome to the show. Please come inside.
It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be podsmacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show. Glad to be here on already the 8th of March. The 8th of March, 2018. And we've got a lot of stuff to get to. A lot of video. I'm going to play a lot of video tonight. It's going to be fun. Commentary, comedy, some political talk. Nothing wrong with that. We are actually at the intersection, I think the ideal intersection of politics and pop culture with Donald Trump at the White House. And so I want to say hello already to Tracy and Mary and Harold joining me tonight, and Linda. We had all sorts of giant views last night, all sorts of emojis flying across the screen, and we're going to give you every opportunity to enjoy this broadcast as the show progresses. The things we're going to cover we're going to talk about what's going on in California with regard to immigration and the fact that the United States is suing California, saying that you can't have sanctuary cities. And I'm not a cold, heartless person, okay? I think if you've been living here, if you came here and your parents brought you here when you were a baby, and you've lived here your entire life, it would be unfair to send you to a third world country, okay? And I also think that if somebody has been here for 30 years and they've been law-abiding citizens and they have families and they have kids at home and all that, while there should be some sort of punishment for that, and I think that should come with, a lack of voting privileges for however long, maybe a decade. I said this years ago. It does no good to separate families, all right? It does no good to take a family that dad sneaked in 30 years ago as a 20-year-old. He's lived and paid taxes, and he's got kids here. And they're going to hate this if you're a conservative. I'm sorry. It does no good to send that dad back to a third-world hellhole, separate the family. And I'm just saying this because for the kids' sake. The kids' sake. Is there a punishment that should be meted out? Yes. You came here illegally. A punishment should be meted out. I think the biggest punishment would be, you don't vote, baby. Sorry, you're never gonna be an official citizen. You're not gonna get to vote. Sorry, it's just the way it is. But I don't want your kids to be raised alone while you wait. And why in the hell does it take 10 years for anybody to get into the country? All right, why does this take 10 effing years? The government is unbelievable. So there's got to be a solution to this. I'm very disappointed the mayor of Oakland. The ICE was going in, and they were going after outstanding warrants for people who here are illegally. Most of them had criminal records. The mayor of Oakland basically broadcast and said, ICE is coming, hide. Whereas ICE would have been able to find hundreds of people with criminal records. Assault, DUI, whatever, gang membership, violence, drug dealing, whatnot. They got a warning from her. And what she did was illegal, kids. What she did was illegal. And by the way, if you are enforcing immigration, 40 years ago, even 20 years ago, No matter what side of the political aisle you were on, you once, or at least politicians once said, that we need to enforce our borders, and we want the best and the brightest to come here. So, I think there's got to be some sort of a medium here, right? Can we do that? Linda in Idaho once again. How you doing? Good to have you here joining me. Tracy's in the room again. Wonderful to have you guys. Look at the emojis flying across here. You guys are absolutely awesome. We set all sorts of viewership records last night. Before I get into anything else, I do want to mention something, all right? There is something I need you to do if you are not following us on Facebook in the correct manner, all right? Now, here is what I want to show you. I want you to pay attention. This is my guest camera. I want you to pay attention to this video because this is how I need you to follow us on American Journal Review, The American Patriot. All right? This is how I need you to follow us. Pay attention to this. Go to follow. You liked us. Good. Go to following. Do not go to default. Get rid of default and go to see first. There you go. See that, kids? That's what we need you to do if we can get past this algorithm from Facebook that's crushing independent publishers. Okay, so that's what I need you to do today. All right, I need you to do that. If you haven't done that on American Journal Review, The American Patriot, the sundry Facebook pages associated with it, because right now libertarian and conservative publishers are being attacked. And so if you want true freedom of speech, and I don't care if you're liberal or conservative, you cannot support shutting down one or the other. You either shut them all down or you say both have to be allowed. All right? So that's what I'm saying. Just do that. When you follow us, go to the see first thing and get rid of the default. All right? That would be cool. Joanne. Hello, Joanne. Glad to have you here tonight. Ryan also watching tonight. Hello there, Ryan. Seth Holmes as well. Good to have you joining me tonight. Also want to mention you, I'm also on Twitch, TWITCH / Rob Carson Show. If you would follow me there, it would be a gift. It really would be a gift. Because I'm trying to become a publisher and I'm trying to become an affiliate. So it would help me. It would be a step closer to making a living doing what I do. And right now, it's very tough to make a living doing this. Okay, so here we go. Let's talk about what's happening in the state of California with regard to illegal immigration with sanctuary cities. Sanctuary cities, by the way, are federally, they are illegal. It is illegal to have a sanctuary city. And again, I'm not a hardliner on families living here and all that stuff. But we have to have some sort of immigration rules. Because why are immigration rules there? Who do the immigration rules protect in our country? Would you like to take a guess? Our country's citizens. That's what they're there for. Our country's citizens are the ones who are supposed to be protected by our immigration rules. That's number one. That's number one. The protection of our citizens. That's it. It's not about giving opportunities to whoever wants to come in the country and all that stuff. Not the case. Not the case. This is about protecting our citizens. That's what it is 100% of the time. And when you declare a sanctuary city, that your city is a sanctuary city, you are discarding the rights of the citizens who already live there, right? You are the citizenry, particularly birth citizenry, or that has been earned by people through sweat and toil and money and all that stuff. They get number one priority. But unfortunately, in sanctuary cities like San Francisco, it's not the case. Or Oakland, California. I've got some audio from or video, I should say, from the mayor of Oakland, California, because the United States, the federal government is suing California. And they're saying that you cannot have sanctuary city status. Oakland Mayor Libby Schaaf went after Attorney General Jeff Sessions in a statement defending her decision to help illegal aliens escape, and this is wrong. a lot of these people, a lot of the people who were targeted by ICE were not targeted because they came here illegally. They were targeted because they came here illegally and they committed crimes. But the mayor basically said, ICE is coming, go hide. And consequently, there were people who committed serious crimes who were able to escape what ICE was doing. Here is the mayor of Oakland basically calling out the Attorney General of the United States for following the law.
How dare you vilify members of our community by trying to frighten the American public into thinking that all undocumented residents are dangerous criminals?
That is absolutely not the case. That is absolutely not the case. That is not the case. Nobody is saying that all people here who are illegally are criminals. Nobody's saying that. Nobody is saying that. Nobody is wholesale going after illegal immigrants. They're not. This was ICE going after people who have been here illegally, but also have committed crimes here. So, please, honestly, as far as the condescension, as far as the whatever you're trying to do, give me a break. All right? Give me a break. Here's a little bit more from, hold on, let me see if right here. I don't know why I lost this for some reason. Here's a little bit more. Oh, there we are. Here's a little bit more from the mayor.
Law-abiding Oaklanders like Eusebio and Maria Sanchez, who you ripped away from their American-born children, and the cancer patients at our public hospital who relied on Maria's nursing skills every day. How dare you distract the American people from a failed immigration system?
Well, great. Then let's fix it. Can we fix it, at least, Mayor? I think there are people actually wanting to fix it. I want to fix it. I want to streamline the thing. Why should it cost so damn much? Why should it take a decade for people to become citizens here? I have dear friends in Washington, D.C. from France. And it is a long and arduous process to get in here. They're fine, outstanding people. They did it the right way, though.
That tears apart decent families and forces the workers that our economy depends on to harvest our crops, deliver our services.
Get a work visa. That's cool. There's a way to do it. Just you get a work visa. We value their labor as well. We do.
And build our cities to live in fear and work under oppressed conditions.
Well, you can blame a lot of businesses for doing that. And when you come here illegally, all right, when you come here illegally and you are illegal in the country, those are the kind of abuses that people are going to meet on you. It is wrong, don't get me wrong, but when you're here illegally, that's what happens. And it sucks. Again, we have to overhaul the immigration system altogether. I'm with you.
How dare you distort the reality about declining violent crime in a diverse sanctuary city?
San Francisco is actually imploding on itself. It is a frigging mess, all right? So don't act like this is some sort of a distortion.
Like Oakland, California.
Oh, Oakland, by the way, Oakland is Oakland is lovely. Wow.
Racist agenda.
There we go. We use the word racism. When you use the word racism, I think you lose the argument. I think it's a sign that you're losing the argument. I think it's a sign you lose the argument. Here's the thing. We need to fix the immigration system. All right? For years, politicians have been using it as a political football. They have. Has immigration been fixed, guys? Has immigration been fixed? No, it hasn't been fixed. You know why? Because there are a lot of people who don't want to fix it. There are a lot of people who don't want to fix it. All right? Finally, you got this president. You may like or dislike this president. I think he's doing a great job. Do I like him as a person? No, not particularly. Would I want to hang out with him? No, not really. But here's it. We have laws on the books right now that need to be enforced while they're the laws on the books. And if you really think these laws are so unjust, guys, fix them. That's what you do. You fix them. Here is Judge Andrew Napolitano talking about what's going on in California and how illegal it is.
So there's two statutes in play here. One, I think the federal government will lose the challenge on, and the statute will be upheld. The other is so blatantly unconstitutional it should be thrown out immediately. First statute, the government of California has said to everybody that works for the government, local, county, regional, and state, if ICE comes knocking, you can't lie, but you can't cooperate. You can't hide, but you shouldn't communicate. Typical case. Somebody comes here from another country on a visa. They overstay it. They're here for years. They commit a crime. They get arrested. They're about to be bailed out. ICE says, we'll save you, state of California, the cost of prosecuting this person. Give him to us. He'll be back in his home country in 24 hours. California says, forget about it. We're not going to tell you who he is or where he is. They can do that. I think it's reckless, wrong, and dangerous, but it's lawful. The second statute prohibits private business owners from cooperating with ICE. You own a sporting goods shop, you own a restaurant, you own a bookstore. ICE comes by and says, we're looking for this person. Can you help us out? If you answer, if you speak, you've committed a crime. That is so profoundly unconstitutional. Attorney General Sessions said this yesterday. It should be invalidated immediately before there's even a trial.
Okay. Again, we need to fix the system while we have these laws in order. We need to follow through with the law. I'll said what I said at the very beginning of the broadcast, and I think we're having a little bit of stop and start on the video, and I apologize. I'm going to get rid of a couple of streams here real quick. I've gotten rid of that one, so we're no longer on Rob Carson's show on Facebook. Let me go ahead and get rid of. Okay, that's okay. You're done. Get out of there. Okay, get off my computer. Don't make any noise. Don't make any noise. Goodbye. And then we'll get off of Rob Carson as well. Get off of Rob Carson. That's pretty funny. Yes, I can. All right. So there's Napolitano talking about what's going on. And honestly, I'm not cruel and heartless. Should families who've been here forever and had their children here, children here, be separated and sent back to third world country? I don't think so, guys. I just don't. It does no good. It does no good for parents or for children to be separated from their families, because those kids were born here. Those kids were born here. They were raised here. They're like you and my kids. They just happen to have parents who came here illegally. I don't think it's fair to the children. Some people will say, yeah, but you know what? I mean, a lot of parents will go to jail if they commit a crime. They go to jail and they're separated from the children. This is a crime. I get it, but it's not murdering somebody. All right. This is something that there should be punishment associated with it. I do believe it has to do with the vote and some privileges with being a naturalized citizen. They have to go away. But it does no good to separate families from people who have been here and who have had their children here or brought their children here very young. It doesn't do any good. All it's going to do is put the burden on you and me as taxpayers when mom and dad are sent back to Nicaragua or Venezuela or wherever that they escaped and did it illegally. Doesn't do any good to separate the families. You can disagree with me. I know, I'll just tell you, I know that people who are very conservative don't like that opinion. They do. But honestly, I think we have to have a little bit of wiggle room here, all right? A little bit of wiggle room here. It does no good to separate families. It just doesn't do any good, and it certainly wouldn't do any good to send children raised here, speak fluent English, have been in school, to suddenly send them to a third world hellhole. Would destroy their lives, and that's not appropriate. It's not appropriate. All right. Let's move on to some other stuff. I want to get into a little bit about, I think that's all of the immigration stuff that I have. But like I said, it is, I just think there's got to be, enforce the laws that are on the books, and if you don't like the effing laws, change the laws. All right, there you go. I'll just say that. So Democrats who don't like the fact that Jeff Sessions and Donald Trump are saying, we're going to enforce the laws that are on the books, change the laws. All right? Work to come up with a compromise. We have some of that going on in Washington, D.C. now for the very first time in a long time. If you don't like the laws, change the laws. But in the meantime, we must enforce the law. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Am I making common sense to you? All right. Common sense, the problem with common sense, folks, is that it's not common anymore. It's just not common anymore. Real quick, before we go any further, I want to introduce our sponsor, Pit Barrel Cooker. Pit Barrel Cooker. It is a glorious cooker. It is available, libertyoneTV.com/cooker. If you would order from here, right here, libertyoneTV.com/cooker, you're going to get a glorious cooker that is made by a veteran, came back from Iraq, and he had suffered PTSD, and he was welcomed back with his troop, and his name's Noah Glanville. And they made barbecue for him, and he said after all the carnage, all the horrors that he saw over there, he smelled barbecue, and he realized that he was home, and he said, honey, I've got to do something. I've got to do something to keep from these demons from haunting me that have haunted me. And you know what you see in battle? I've never experienced. But he said to his wife, I want to do this. This is what I want to do. And so they created this. They started in a garage, then they moved to a Quonset hut. And now they're making the best frickin' cookers in the country. You can barbecue, you can get these skewers that hang shish kebabs in there. You hang the meat in the smoker, and it surrounds the meat with smoke and with heat. And it's glorious. And all you got to do is put charcoal in the bottom and wood if you want it, and just leave it alone. It's glorious. And if you want to use it just as a grill, there you go. Order one of these. Father's Day's coming up. They've got a big one right here. That's the classic. That's what I got. They got a smaller version you can use for tailgating. And just go to libertyoneTV.com/cooker. If you would order from there, we get credit for it. We'd really appreciate it if you'd do that. And thank you in advance. So there's a lot of gun control stuff going on, and there's a lot of craziness going on out there, and there's a lot of overreaction with regard to what happened in Florida, and a lot of people are, doing what we always do. We're screaming for answers. It doesn't make any sense. Things like Parkland don't make any sense because this isn't how the world should be. And so we grasp at straws, and some people grasp at straws like get rid of all guns. Okay. Some people grasp at straws like we need metal detectors in schools, which is stupid because the Parkland shooter, Nicholas Cruz, would have just walked in and said, oh, there's a metal detector. Like, that's going to stop me? So that was stupid. Unfortunately, that was weeded out pretty quickly, right? It was weeded out pretty quickly. And then we considered this kind of what happened after 9/11. What happened 9/11? Some people are saying, what we need to do is we need to make it more difficult to get into school. Okay, so hardened entryways, stuff like that. Okay, identification, the whole deal, which my kids' schools have. And then we need to arm people. Then we need to possibly have veterans, retired veterans in schools, or police officers in schools, or maybe even allow teachers to conceal carry if they choose to do so. Okay? Same thing after 9/11. Same thing. Made it more difficult to get on an airplane. I mean, TSA going through security, which, by the way, is a joke. They see you naked in a little spinny thing with your hands up. And that's just so humiliating, especially on a cold day. Really humiliating for me. I don't know. It's like, wow, I wouldn't be too afraid of that weapon. Anyway, and then when you go through that, then you get on the airplane, and there's a hardened door. In case, if you were born after 1999 or 2001, you don't realize that the cockpit doors are now metal. There was no metal door on the cockpit. There was a little flimsy door on the cockpit. It's metal now. You can't get into that cockpit anymore. It's very, very incredibly difficult to get to the door. That happened after 9/11. Maybe if you don't know that, if you're a young millennial, that's what it was. Oh, and another thing, they put armed air marshals on the flights.